So Australia keeps winning, keeps winning, keeps winning, keeps winning, keeps winning, keeps winning. But why? This is one question that is racing in the minds of every Indian since the World Cup happened. For people who don't know, I'm pretty sure you know the Cricket World Cup final 2023 that happened yesterday. Australia defeated India and picked the World Cup for the sixth time. So much analysis is going on as to what happened. The Indian team ICT was playing so well, was so dominant throughout the tournament. Won 10 consecutive games, unheard of. Yet when it comes to the finals, most people agree that the performance wasn't up to the standards that was set by the Indian cricket team throughout the tournament. So what happened? Well, why is it? Why? Once again, I have seen so much analysis that is being done on the campaign, and yes, there are so many insights that have been shared. But what is the core reason, uh, core psyche because of which the crucial moments or the crunch moments of the game were picked up by Australia and not India? I'll tell you the reason behind it, and it's actually very, very simple. For Australians, this game was actually just another game. For Indians, yes, we and the team wanted to believe, and they to a great extent believed that they are going to play this game as as another game. But the fact is, for in actuality, in reality, it was just another game for Australia, and it was not just another game for India. You see, for this we have to understand, as much as we want to believe, oh, we wanted to play this game just like another game, but it won't happen. And why it won't happen, I'll tell you the reason behind it. For that, we have to look at the ecosystem that is India. All right. For us, cricket is nothing short of a religion. It's like a cult. With country that now has 1.4 billion people, it is fascinating, and at the same time, it's a bit weird that all of us align behind one single game, which has its benefits, right? It has its benefits. That is one of the core reasons because of which IPL is so big as it is, and which is good. I have no qualms with IPL and stuff like that. I think it's very, very important. What is happening is perfect, but we have to look at the factors behind which such a potent group of people uh, couldn't perform the way they might have expected to perform. So, if we and now why we are so much focused on one particular game when as a country that has 1.4 billion people, with majority of people being majority of the majority of the census being young people, why is it that we are aligning towards one single game? The reason for that is India is a very emotional country, and this is not a bad thing, right? Emotions have a certain power towards something. If you want to actually create something, if you want to develop something, there has to be a certain sense of emotion that goes into it, and which because of which the development happens. The issue is, uh, we as a country have seen so many challenges in the past, right? So because of these challenges, what happened was there was a section of time during which India as a country was subservient to external powers. So because of what happens, and you will observe this in your daily life, when a person who's very submissive, who's very subservient, it from the surface of it, it looks like that person is very quiet, very mellow, who doesn't speak a lot, is an introvert. But the fact is, a person who's subservient or submissive is actually very loud. He's just not speaking, but inside his mind is very loud. Because our country has seen, in the past, has seen a large amount of time being subservient to external forces, what happened was the country's collective consciousness was that of a very submissive nature. Now, as time progressed, as freedom happened, as the country moved from 1800s to 1900s and now to 2000s, that repressed kind of energy, that subservient energy, was hungry to find expression. It wanted to do things now. Whenever you taste a sense of freedom within yourselves, whenever you free yourselves from dependencies, there is a certain urge to prove yourselves. Now, and that is the reason why India is growing so fast economically, because everyone is aligned towards well-being, and we already have a target that we need to achieve in the form of economic benchmark that is set by the West. Now, why I'm telling you all this? So when this period of subservience happened, and when it came to 1983, when India won its first World Cup, of course, at that time, hockey was also big, but you know, at this point of time, when the sole authority in cricket was of West Indies, when India defeated West Indies the way it defeated, going to a different country and defeating them, what happened was, suddenly this country, which was almost hungry to find recognition, found one at an international stage where nobody expected that they do what they did. So suddenly these big names, and rightly so, became big. Kapil Dev, Sunil Gavaskar, and the entire 1983 team. Suddenly India started to believe, okay, we are now somebody at the international stage. And it produced heroes. During those times, Sachin Tendulkar and Rahul Dravids, all of these people who gave a very different kind of potency to this team were kids, and they were seeing their heroes develop. They were seeing their heroes, and they used them as inspiration to develop themselves. So this subservient kind of ecosystem started having its first roar, and then it was followed by Sachin Tendulkar era, and Saurav Ganguly's same time, and then came Mahendra Singh Dhoni. This whole flow was a conduit through which the emotional subservience of Indians could find expression. So much so that it also happened at the cost of other sporting avenues, right? For a country with 1.4 billion people, it is very necessary that India becomes a multifaceted sporting nation, for which the leadership today, you will see our PM congratulating Olympics, Asian Games, Paralympics, and athletic events. He's putting his efforts into trying to make this country into a very sporting nation. So now what? Now let's. So because of this, cricket became an avenue through which individual Indians, find an identity that they can use to put themselves forth in the international space. The issue now let's bring countries like Australia into the picture. I was watching an interview of a journalist who went to watch the T20 World Cup that happened in Australia recently in 2022. He said that he thinks that he's a very good swimmer, right? He thinks he's a very good swimmer, and India he feels is at a very good level. Now, when he went to Australia, there were little kids who could defeat him easily without even putting any effort. The West has come to a point where they have started to look at international events like cricket. I'm talking about Australia, like cricket, hockey, as something very very normal. For them, that is not the sole avenue of expression. See, imagine if India won the World Cup. You wouldn't believe the kind of celebration that would have happened here. Once again, it will, and that is because of the collective emotional expression of the entire country. But today, if you watch Australia, yes, people are happy there. I've seen them celebrating, being happy. I've seen some celebrities, creating Instagram posts and tweeting about it. But it is nowhere close to what would have happened had India won the World Cup. Why? Because for them, sport is not one, or cricket rather, is not one sole avenue where the whole country is invested in. For them, they have started looking at cricket or sport as an entity that they have to work upon and fix to improve themselves. Whereas for us, what happens is, oh, it is very important that you win. If you don't win, this would happen, that would happen, things like that. Too much investment. Because of what? Because and when you can't look at things at ordinary level, you won't be able to capitalize on crunch moments. You will perform when things won't matter, you will perform like a magician. But when it happens where a lot is at stake, it is imperative, it's just so clear that you will lose out on crunch moments. And that is where they capitalize, because in their minds, what Australians were thinking: okay, this is a game, this is the plans for these players, and they executed those plans to the T. That happened because they looked at it as a game, and we as Indians didn't. We will pretend that we didn't, but actually it was a very big thing for us. Now, so what I'm trying to explain to you is the power of ordinary. We have this weird thing to take everything into an extraordinary space, right? I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. They are elevating something to a point which is not bad. I'm not saying all of this is bad. I am saying when you do that, you take away the power of looking at things from a very neutral perspective. If you want to develop a team, if you want to create a sporting group, or if you want to create an individual who's excellent at sport, it is very important that he or she looks at the fundamental weakness that he or she has or the group has. So for these countries, Western countries, their life and their lifestyle, their ecosystem has developed to a point, because they have had their investment in different facets. They have come to a point where they can look at sport as sport and nothing more. We as country have yet to come to a place where we look at cricket and its game in a very ordinary level. People ask, what was so special about Mahendra Singh Dhoni? And there are so many discussions about it, all good, all nice, but I'll tell you one thing that made Mahendra Singh Dhoni stand apart to the point there where he could win all ICC international tournaments, because the extraordinary thing about Mahendra Singh Dhoni was that he was ordinary. He was a simple man who has this innate capacity to see things in a very simple sense. The 2007 T20 World Cup was very, very special. You know why it was special? He took people with him that no one would bet on to winning the World Cup. He took simple people. He was not invested in taking, okay, I need this particular type of a skilled person for this position. He has, in many interviews, he has also said that he works with what he has. He doesn't put extraneous demands on people. He has this extraordinary capacity to making people trust themselves that they will prove themselves when crunch situations come. And that trust, that simple vision, the extraordinary ordinary vision is what made his team stand out. Nothing against the team that we have today. It's an excellent team on paper. This team is much better than the Australian team. Even Australian team knows this. But what Australian people very rightly capitalized on was the simple fact that they were capable of looking at the game in a very simple sense. But we, owing to our own innocent, there is an innocence in looking at things from an emotional perspective. Because of our own innocent investment, couldn't look at the game the way we would have seen. And the direct solution to ensuring that we start looking at every game on its merit and not from the curtains of emotion is to make India a multi-sporting nation. Not because we have anything against cricket. We will follow cricket to the T, and you cannot stop it. If cricket is a religion, it will remain a religion. IPL will keep going big, and things will start to happen. There is a flow to it. There's a force to it, and it won't stop. And we should not stop, because we have the resources and capacity for the cricket zone, at least, to make take this sport to a level where, to meet what happens today in football in the West, soccer in the West, league and international campaigns combined. We have this capacity, so we are not going to lose capacity in cricket. So kill cricket and develop other sports is a wrong attitude. But just be invested in cricket alone is also the wrong attitude. So let's push cricket even better. Let's not, please, as Indians, I request, this team has done really well throughout this tournament. We have to be proud of them. We have to appreciate them, right? They played 10 games like you won't believe. I am personally proud of this team. You should be too. But it is very important that we start discussing that we start emotional and all kinds of investment towards making India a multifaceted nation in terms of sports. In addition to other things like entrepreneurship and business, of which I talk a lot about on this channel. And so I will hope you will subscribe, because I like to make those kinds of discussions which involve business, which involves mind, psychology and sports. so that is my thing, because everyone knows who Virat Kohli is, everyone knows who Rohit Sharma is. We know everything about the personal life of cricketers. How many of you know who Savita Punia is? How many of you know who Gurjant is? How many of us know who Avinash Sable is? Many of you maybe know. Now, of course, everyone know who Neeraj Chopra is, because he's just my favorite athlete of all time. But this has to go deeper, and it is happening. But we need to make it quick. If we want to win international championship in cricket, it is very important that we win international championships, Olympic medals, Asian Games medal, and World Championship titles in other sports as well. Because for us, sport should not be one sole avenue of expression. Out of the multifaceted country that India can be, sport can be one such avenue where we are focused on excellence, not forcing emotions on the game. Because when it comes to crunch moments, it's ordinary excellence that excels. Not how much we want to win. Everybody wants to win. But if we have paid attention to the game without forcing unnecessary things on it, then we will look at ordinary things. We will choose the right people. We will fix the right mistakes. And when crunch moments come, everyone would become Dhoni. Dhoni is not a special entity. He's an incredible human being, perfect, brilliant person. But the essence of Dhoni or the essence of excellence could be embodied by everybody. That is what we want. And in order to have that, it's very important that we become multifaceted human beings. We become a multifaceted nation who's not just focused on one thing, but who's invested in all the right things. Emotions can also go in the dangerous direction, negative direction. We need to avoid that. I think that's real responsibility when it comes to sports and when it comes to building the nation. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. It's a little bit of different discussion, I know, but I chose to pick up this topic because there is so much to learn here. Okay, we didn't win the World Cup, but there's so much to learn at individual level and at all levels. And there are ways in which you can look at these things to actually become an excellent human being, to improve yourselves to a point where you can do good things in your life. That is why I discuss this thing on my channel, and I discuss stuff like this on this channel all the time. So it would be perfect, it would be very good if you would subscribe to it. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.